Hey folks, thanks again for tuning back in. I appreciate you coming back to check out my progress here, what I've been doing in my Southwest Florida area with my beekeeping and my honeybee journey. So today I'm planning on cutting out some honeycomb to put in small jars that I fill with honey. I figured I haven't done a video of this one yet, so I might as well add it to the collection of other videos. I'll just show you how I do it. One thing I really wanted to make clear is that my channel is not a how-to channel. I'm happy to help out other beekeepers as best I can with questions. There's 1.5 million ways to do things. We all live in different parts of the country. What I do here in Florida may be completely the wrong thing for you to do up in New York or New Jersey area. So just consider that. I will try to use a lot of common observations, so as I look at a frame, I try to tell you what I see, and hopefully you guys can pick up on what you're seeing and try to make a good assessment of it. These are the jars that I'm going to use, and I have the honey frame in a freezer, which I keep it so that way there's no moths or ants or anything that can crawl on those frames. Again, just a real common demonstration here. I have the jars like I mentioned. This is a postage scale. What we're going to do is I like to know what the net weight is so I can kind of gauge how much I'm selling a jar for, so I know what price it is per ounce. This scale is set to pounds and ounces. Again, I'm in the United States, so we got it to pounds and ounces. The whole container is going to go on the scale, and we see that it weighs 5.9 ounces. So that means when we fill this up to the complete top and put the lid on it, whatever this weighs, we subtract 5.9 from the weight, and that will give us what we call the net weight. To protect my table, this is a glass table. I have a towel down. These are sheets from a dehydrating tray. So these are non-stick sheets. If any honey kind of drips off, this is easy to clean up. This is a quart jar that I had microwaved for about 10 minutes with water, and it's boiling hot, and this butter knife has been sitting in the water. What I'm going to do before I cut the honey pieces out, I'm going to take the butter knife out. I'm going to dry it off really nice with a napkin or paper towel, and that way the warm blade from the butter knife will cut through the wax and honey pretty easily, is what I'm guessing. Again, I said what I'm guessing because I haven't done this before. Okay, here is my chest freezer. Very simple unit. I think I paid maybe, this is brand new, I paid $200 at a big box store. You can find these much cheaper, Craigslist, eBay, yard sales. There's sometimes scratch and dents. So just look around. You don't have to pay that awful much. But for beekeeping, this is great because I can put extra frames. Any frames that are worth reusing will go in here. Right now there's really no frames in here that are worth reusing. The only one, like I mentioned, is this foundationless frame, and it's upside down at the moment because it kind of came detached from the top bar. But this is the frame of honey that we will process. And let me set that down. Okay, and that's the honey frame. You can kind of see it's not really filled completely with honey. It's completely capped over. As you can see, I got about 6 of these jars that are honeycomb and honey, and that was a mess. So my first time trying to cut a foundationless frame as it was still frozen, this is what I've pretty much learned. Don't try to cut a foundationless frame into pieces when it's still frozen. Unless you can get a knife that's superheated, it might work better if it's like burning red hot. but in my case, it just kind of made the honey turn into a gooey type of a taffy consistency, and the wax kind of flaked. So no big deal. I mean, it still tastes amazing. If you guys ever had the raw beeswax, it reminds me of the old wax candy. So anyhow, not too bad. These little jars did turn out all right. And let's see how much a full jar weighs. And I'm sure none of these are going to be consistent. They might vary. And as you remember, the weight of an empty jar with the lid is 5.9. So we have 17.4 ounces total minus 5.9 ounces, 11.5 ounces. And another consideration to remember is moisture content. What I have here is a refractometer, and this is made for measuring solution, basically. This is made for alcohol, honey, salinity, clinical, industrial, antifreeze. This was purchased from Amazon. It's about $19 last I got it. I'm an Amazon Prime member, so I get free shipping. When the honey thaws, it's going to add moisture to the jar. You don't want a lot of water mixed in with your honey, or else it will ferment and it won't keep as long. Those of you who may have bad experience with jars of honey, in these mason jars, they're not water bathed at all, so these lids will seal or they can expand, and if there's enough moisture in here that ferments, these little jars can blow off and make a big mess. So I'll show you how to use a refractometer. It's really pretty easy. You just calibrate it. You put a little drop of honey between there and you hold it up to a light, and there's a little measurement panel that tells you the percentage of the moisture. So for honey, I like to go about 14%. Anything that's less than 16%, actually 18% I think is safe. It won't ferment after a while. I think the lower content, the longer storage. Again, I'm not a big honey seller, so these kind of sit around for a while. And here we go, folks. So I got 12 jars of honey. 6 of the jars here on the left are all honey, filtered honey, gently filtered through a 600 micron fine mesh screen. And on the right is the, I'm going to call it comb honey. And I don't know if you can pick it up that great on camera, but you can see the bits of wax in there. And I do not ship yet, folks, sorry. I haven't figured out how to do the online PayPal or online payment thing yet, but I'll get there. Any of you out there want to share what you're using to generate your sales, just basically from online orders, let me know, and that'd be great.